The following is an episode celebrating 2021 and my achievements podcasting, live streaming, sketching, and writing over the past year. Hey, it's Nono, and this is the Getting Simple podcast. 2020 has been an incredible year in many ways, yet I didn't expect COVID to be as present in 2021 as it was in 2020, honestly. Wherever you are, I hope that you're staying safe and healthy and can be at least in contact with your close friends, even if you cannot spend time with them in person. I'm going to list a series of things that I consider achievements in different areas. So one of them is the live stream, another one is the podcast, another one is new formats that I've played with, and we also have things like freediving, making or building a recording studio, and writing and sketching for the sketch.nono.map blog. The live stream project was propelled by the pandemic in some way because we were all forced to not travel and stay at home and produce anything that we wanted to produce on site at home. For me, it was on the living room. In 2021, I live streamed and showed up for more than 40 weeks. That's more than 40 or even probably 70 hours of content because many of my live streams go over 2 hours. We've played with numerous machine learning algorithms, so doing hands-on coding during the live sessions. And we've played with algorithms including pix-to-pix, StyleGAN, and pixel-to-style-to-pixel, which are generative networks that allow us to generate images from things that we feed into the network. We've covered many other technologies, including React and web technologies, Laravel, and how to deploy websites to the cloud. And, we have already started releasing summary videos. This is edited versions of parts of the things that appear on the live stream for you to be able to learn faster. Because I know that during live streams, the content can be a bit slow because usually I'm learning as I'm doing things. I don't have the time to prepare everything in advance and synthesize it. The live stream is the time that I reserve to do that. So from time to time, I do a recap on the live stream, maybe the first 30 minutes or 20 minutes. And that content is the synthetic, right? Like the things that I've learned that I can convey and say, okay, this is a summary. And we try to upload those as separate videos as well. On the podcast, I published 16 episodes. Guests include Micah Bohr, James Meloni, and Selene Urban, Luis Ruiz Padrón, Hector Ruiz, Cristobal Valenzuela, Nate Peters, José Luis García El Castillo, and Aziz Barbar. And I'll talk later about some others that you can expect in the near future. We've recorded the first full video interview on the podcast. This is with Luis Ruiz Padrón. You can see that on YouTube, and I'll link on the show notes to that interview. I'm really happy with the result. It looks really professional, at least I think so. And this is all thanks to Daniel Natoli from Periferia Films. I couldn't have done that on my own without his help. And I also want to give a shout out to Aimin. He lives in Sydney, Australia, and he's been editing most of the long form interviews over the past year, which I'm super happy for because I was spending many hours doing that, and that's not my job, right? My job should be booking more interviews and preparing more content and recording for the podcast, not editing, even though I'm still doing a lot of editing work that I probably shouldn't. And we can hopefully bring you more of those on-site video interviews in the near future. We've experimented with remote recording of video as well, but it's harder because webcams and online connections always hinder the quality of this material. We've also started the Bytes series. So this is a series that I started with Aziz Barbar. He's the co-host of these episodes. You can visit the 4 episodes that we've released so far at gettingsimple.com/bytes. We've released an episode on StyleGAN, another one on NFTs and digital art, and the latest one on the black box. The first one was just an intro to the series. And these episodes try to bring down-to-earth concepts that are at the intersection of digital technology and culture. And hopefully we'll bring you more episodes. I'll mention more about that later. Freediving has been a really big discovery for me this year. I went to Tenerife for an entire week's course with Jose Luis. We recorded a Getting Simple podcast episode on the matter. You can visit that one at gettingsimple.com/freediving, in which we captured our first impressions right before leaving, when we were at the airport, right before leaving the island. And I like that because I keep forgetting details about that trip, so I made a few posts that you can see on the blog in this episode, and it sort of encapsulates my learning process there, the things that I took away from the trip and things that now maybe I give for granted but that I didn't know before. The next achievement, which I've been wanting to do for a long time, is building a recording studio where I'm recording right now. I used to have a chroma, and I still have a chroma at my living room where I'm living right now in the apartment, but this is a different place, and I have acoustic panels in the front, in the ceiling, and also on the side walls. And I have a new light. I'm using a mirrorless camera here, and this is a place where I can work with more focus, and is the first recording studio that I've done to record podcasts and live streams and do things outside of my living room. I've learned a lot about acoustic treatment, lighting, and sound, but there's a lot to learn there still, and I still don't feel that I know anything. And even though my space will continue to improve, I'm actively using this space to podcast. I mean, I'm doing this right now and to live stream. And all of the equipment that I've bought is an investment that I can take anywhere with me were I to move this recording room to another building, onto another place, which is great. So if you're interested on that, write a question on the video or just let me know somehow, maybe on the asks page and gettingsimple.com/ask, and let me know, because if you want, I'm completely open to share my behind the scenes and my setup and my settings and how I'm doing what you're hearing right now and all of the live streams. And lastly, I also wanted to share achievements from the blog at sketch.nono.ma. I've published 52 sketches. This is 52 stories, one every week. I'm trying to do a big effort in not missing a week. These posts go out on English, translated to Spanish, and with an edited sketch that I do. Even though I sketch every day, I publish at least one sketch with these posts every week. And that forces me to have the habit of scanning my sketchbook, pairing a sketch with a piece of text that I've written and publishing it out there. And, moving aside from my sort of achievements or like this capture of things that I've done, there are a lot of other things that I've done, but that I'm not sharing publicly, or that it's other disconnected things that maybe I talk about in the future. And I wanted to have a section on this podcast thinking about writing. So this is a section on writing, and I wanted to talk about the fact that if you're thinking of starting a blog or a personal journal or just writing in any form, I'm adding a link to a blog post that I wrote a few months back titled 1 Word Per Day, which also links to a few other posts. So this is my encouragement for you to get to start writing daily. And I think it was Kevin Kelly who says this. I think Tim Ferriss quotes him a lot on this, that through writing, he learns what he's thinking. It's not only that he writes what he thinks, but he also learns what he's thinking through writing and shapes his thoughts and ideas. So inside of this post, which is a summary or like of the post, is just like by writing 100 words or 1,000 words a day, you'll get to thousands of words in a year. And that's what I'm trying to do, publishing and writing. And I link to the following posts. There's one that is called 700 Days of Practice, in which I share how and why I write and sketch daily and discuss the concepts of deliberate practice and atomic habits. So there is a Writing Habits podcast episode in which I share the routines that help me write consistently. and the software tools and gadgets that I use on a daily basis to journal, write essays, posts, and episodes, and review and edit my writing. I'm trying to do a second part for this one because my writing process is evolving slightly, and I would like to share the things that I'm using right now, kind of like an update to that. Another post, which is titled, "Why Should You Write?", in which I talk about the benefits of writing in public every week. And also another one that is titled, "Are You Writing Enough?", in which I comment how generating more ideas makes you more original and explain a bit why. This is, if I tell you a bit about it, it's an idea or a thought that I learned from Originals by Adam Grant. That's the book. And, all of these things have to do a lot with the thoughts of Seth Godin. I agree with Seth that, and I'm quoting him here, that everyone should have a blog and should write daily in public. That last part is really important. He says that it's free and it's also a great way to establish your tone before anyone cares about your writing. It's similar to what I'm doing right now here. I have done already 55 other live streams, and this has helped me build some sort of tone. Like, I can talk to you right now as I'm talking because I've recorded podcasts and I've done live streams. If you go to live stream number 1 or the first podcast episodes, I wasn't talking like this, and I don't know, it might be better or worse, but it helps you be a bit more comfortable and not nervous all the time. And as a matter of fact, one of my goals to remove friction from my creative writing process is to begin publishing on Substack. So I'll say more about this in the future, but what I want to do is try to have a feed which I can write in English only and without the need to translate my posts into Spanish and pair up every single post with a photo or illustration. The simple fact of having to translate a piece of text and couple it with a drawing or photo makes my process more complex than it needs to be. And I don't know, just try it. But it's easy for one post. But if you do this 52 times a year, that means that you're adding 52 sketches that you have to do. For example, in my case, you have to edit, you have to upload, and you have to publish, and also 52 text pieces that you have to translate into Spanish in my case. So yeah, that's a bit like a small note on writing. So the next thing that I want to share with you today on this episode are the most visited stories of 2021. I did a similar post last year with the most visited posts of 2020, and these have been the ones that, at least from Google Analytics, I've seen that have the most visits. And this is something that I mentioned on the blog last week. I've published 52 stories and sketches during this year, and the ones I'm going to comment on now, or at least mention, are the 10 with the most views in descending order. So the most visited post has been "A Frugal Practice, Use Cash." It's actually a little excerpt from episode 32 of the podcast. This is a conversation with JR from Insisting Simplicity that was titled "Frugal Practices to Achieve Financial Independence and Permaculture Design." They're two separate or different topics, but we talk a lot about frugal practices that he has and techniques to spend less money or maybe measure how much you need on your year, right? So if you like that post, maybe you enjoyed that podcast episode. The second post with most views is the new sketchbook. Next is "Each Sketch is Different." Fourth is "A Tiny Notepad as Checklist." The fifth one is "What do architecture and software engineering have in common?" The sixth one is "A World Without Email," that talks a bit about Cal Newport's new book and my reflection on some of the other books that he has, like So Good They Can Ignore You, Deep Work, and Digital Minimalism. The seventh one is "The Urban Sketching Habit." After that is White Knight's Watercolors. And then are Freediving, Autovent, and Freediving, How to Prevent Your Diving Mask from Fogging Up. Honestly, these have many views that come organically from Google searches, and some of them actually make sense that people would do those searches from Google, like how to prevent your diving mask from fogging up or White Knight's Watercolors, because people might want to buy that or to learn things. So I don't know, it's a bit biased, but these are the actual Google Analytics results of the 10 most visited stories. My favorites, which don't have anything to do with Google searches, are "There Is Never a Later," which is a reflection that I did, which is the first part of a series that I'm doing called On Postponing Life. Then the other one that I like is Batteries Not Included, because it contains a bit more of personal story. And then the Diving Reflex, which are the three that are among my favorites. And specifically the Diving Reflex contains one of the things that I enjoyed learning the most in the freediving course that we did in Tenerife. I would love to hear from you and learn about what stories you enjoyed the most, or maybe what podcast episodes or live streams you enjoyed the most. So you can submit a note, as I said before, at gettingsimple.com/ask and let me know. Maybe send me a voice note, maybe send me a question, or just a simple comment. What can you expect from me in 2022? I'm going to continue working on my full-time job, and also so in my job and also outside of my job, I'm going to try to work with more focus. I'm going to work exhaustively on reducing creative friction. So these are all of the in-between processes that I do, from wanting to do something to doing it to publishing, right? There is a lot of friction between going from idea to execution, but even more from execution to publication. A lot of things there that I can comment on future episodes, and that's why I focus or obsess a lot on workflow automation many times. Another thing that I'm going to keep doing is delegation and collaboration, trying to work with other professionals and creatives in doing things. Everything that I cannot automate with code, I'll try to delegate and basically pay others or collaborate with others to work on those tasks. On the live stream, as I mentioned many times, we'll continue developing the AI sketching platforms, trying to train more bots or machine learning algorithms that allow us to create drawing or sketching bots. And hopefully start the ML course, which we haven't started yet, and we need to do a lot of work in there. On the podcast, you can expect more Bytes episodes and many different topics, again, as I mentioned before, that have to do with concepts at the intersection of digital technology and culture, and hopefully some around the metaverse, NFTs and digital art, extending a bit on what I'm learning there, and crypto and things like this, maybe DeFi or other things. And on the podcast, I can share that I'm expecting to have a few guests that I've already booked. Jordan Gray, we already recorded. We have video on both ends, and we're going to get that edited pretty soon, hopefully to have it ready and published on January or February. Andrew Witz is going to have a second round, so it's gonna be a guest again on the podcast, and we're gonna talk about his new book. And Leo Cremonesi, which we have been planning an interview for a few months, and I think when he comes back from wherever he is, we'll be able to get that done. And actually, I'm also preparing another episode with Adam Menges to learn a bit more about the history of visual programming languages and creative friction and many other things. Okay, so this is it from my end. I'd love to hear now from you. Let me know if you'd like anything in particular about this past year, about the writings, the sketches, the podcast, the live streams, anything. You can submit comments or questions, as I said many times today, at gettingsimple.com/ask. Send me a voice note, maybe even just a thank you note if you like anything in particular, suggestion to change things, a question about anything that I do or that I have done, or maybe things that you'd like to see in the future. Join the Discord community at none other mas as Discord if you want to connect with other people like you. And one thing, Spotify started letting users rate podcasts on their platform. So if you are enjoying the podcast, maybe go to Getting Simple on the Spotify and rate it with 5 stars. I would be super thankful, and I don't even know if that helps or not, but you know, it'll start showing up if many of us rate it. So hopefully you can help me out on there. I want to wish you Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I hope 2022 is the year in which we get rid of COVID and can get back to traveling and relating to others normally. And I hope that we can do a lot of things together. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Before you go, I'd like to remind you or point you to where you can find the contents that I've mentioned in this episode. There's going to be a detailed list of show notes, as always, at gettingsimple.com. Just go to this episode, whatever episode number this is. But if you want to take a look at the live stream, you can go and see the playlist at nono.ma/live, or simply go to my YouTube channel, which is at youtube.com/Nono Martinez Alonso. You can visit all of the podcast episodes at gettingsimple.com/podcast. You can find the Bytes episodes filtered at gettingsimple.com/bytes. And you can find all of the sketches and stories that I've published over the past 3 years at sketch.nono.ma.